we in first black champ. Let it begin. Camp from the port, JR bang in the corner, real talk, real heat. Tune in, now we on ya. Ding ding, step in, mic check, let it spin. From the port, we in first black champ. Let it begin.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. It is another beautiful Sunday, unless you just listening at another time. But we appreciate you nonetheless. SummerSlam is officially a wrap. 2 days of nonstop wrestling action. Some say one day way better than the other. And we could talk about that if y'all like. But there is new developments in the world of wrestling, as well as new arguments. And you want some people that can talk about that intelligently and like nobody else in the world. So get ready. It's time for the First Black Champ podcast. And I am your podcast intercontinental champion, Camp from the Port.
And I am JR Bang. Make sure you rate, like, subscribe, download the To the Barbershop Network, home of the First Black Champ podcast. Follow us at everything, the FBC POD. Yeah. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all saw the scuttlebutt on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, this past weekend, and that's what we are starting off with today. So look, 83 weeks with Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson definitely sparked a huge conversation within the internet wrestling community this weekend. So on 83 weeks, Conrad said, Roman Reigns, talking about Roman Reigns, I think Roman Reigns is possibly the most overrated main eventer in WWE history. He continued, calling Roman Reigns an industry plant.
Yeah. That was
now,
wild.
we work in the music industry. We worked in radio. We work in music. When we hear industry plant, we hear somebody that was just planted, said that they were independent and all this stuff, but it turns out they got a huge backing behind them. So when we hear industry plant, that's what we think of. Also, he said that Roman Reigns is Goldberg if Goldberg worked more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was wild. I'm sorry.
He also came out and said that the WWE's fortunes would not change if the second generation star would just vanish. He's also compared Roman Reigns' bloodline story to current to the NWO in his later years. And Eric Bischoff agreed. This is when it just dragged on a bit too long.
Yeah.
So let's start with the latter.
Okay.
Before we get to the other part, let's stick with the latter.
Okay.
Let's stick with the bloodline first.
Yes.
Has the bloodline storyline gone on too long?
And sorry for the dead air there. I'm gonna say no, but I also don't believe that there's just good writing and progression about it. To be honest with you, I think it's more of creative not knowing what to do with minority families.
Oh,
let's start there. You know what I mean? Look, even if you look on Netflix or Hulu or HBO Max, like all the white families, they fight over money, somebody dying, and it's over. And this ain't that. You know what I'm saying? I bet you if this was the DiBiase family, they'd have a lot to do. But they don't seem to know what to do with all this talent and keep it real. Jesus, I'm about to die on air. But there is, even individually, like this ain't like a bunch of jobbers in Roman Reigns. These ain't like glorified mid-carders in Roman Reigns. Like everybody in this story is a viable, at least tier B or C headliner with character, with personality that can actually wrestle. There should be a lot to do here, and they're just not doing it right. That's my personal opinion.
I feel you. I think it's gone on too long. But I think it's gone on too long because of everything that you said. If you ain't got that, then put it away. I hate the tweener role because the tweener role to me is an excuse for wrestlers to not go all the way in one way or the other.
Yeah.
Everybody can't be Stone Cold and everybody can't be Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And to me, those are the two best tweeners of all time. You can float right there in the middle and be liked or hate and still be great at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, when we look at this Roman Reigns storyline, it's like, yo, was he the face against Seth Rollins? But then you have him on Monday night going up against LA Knight and all of that. Like, are you the heel? Like, what is going on? That's what makes this confusing to me, part one, with this current Bloodline storyline, because it was clear what it was years ago.
Yeah.
We ain't here to be liked. We here to make money, all of those things.
Yeah.
So that is part one of why I currently hate what's going on with the Bloodline.
That's fair.
But number two, and this is probably going to be a lot of my argument, when you look at every great faction, go to the Four Horsemen, you can make a stop at the Dangerous Alliance, you could jump right on into the NWO, you could go into D-Generation X, and hell, you could even talk about Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
The mid-carders were still looked at as main carders, but we knew what it was.
Yeah.
We knew Arn Anderson wasn't about to win the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
You knew him and Tully was going to hold that tag team division down. Or one of them was going to have the TV championship. You knew that Barry Windham or Lex Luger was going to go after the United States Championship. Same thing with the NWO, to the point where if it was one person in the NWO that didn't necessarily need a championship, but he had a tag team championship, it was Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Part of why I hate the Bloodline storyline is because, Jay, you going to go after the Intercontinental Championship? It's going to be you and Chad Gable? Or actually, in my opinion, forget Jay. Jimmy should be going after Chad Gable at this point, and let Jay and Jacob go after the tag. But then it's like, yo, Jacob out. That's what's confusion.
Yeah.
Or confusing me. It is the mid-card portion of the Bloodline, and what are we doing and what are they going after? So outside of Roman, there's nothing, sexy about the Bloodline that makes me go, I need to continue to watch this.
Mm-hmm. No, and see, I love what you just said, because now, now we on the same track. We come from different sides of the neighborhood. We have the same working place, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, dude, Jimmy Uso could be facing Chad Gable. Jimmy and Jacob could be a tag team for a little hot minute. Like, anything is possible, because Roman's idea of the story, and he teases it every single week. His storyline is world domination. Hey, look, we run the entire wrestling industry. Like, in my mind, Roman Reigns is like, hey, you could actually go over there, Jacob, and take that U.S. title off of Baron Corbin right now. And then, hey, Jimmy, you take the IC title. Hey, Jay, you said you're the main event, Jay, right? I gave you that name, right? Go take that belt off CM Punk right now. We hate his guts anyway. That's literally his storyline. I think that when we're looking at what they're doing as far as creative is concerned, it's like they're trying to table them or box them in on one show, and that's not even Roman Reigns' MO in general. He like, no, put us anywhere, and we about to run this. And that's as long as we know that, hey, look, I got the title. Whatever title I got is the title, we all good.
We all good.
That's his only stipulation. Like, I'm just the top dog here, but we got all the belts.
Right. So that, like I said, we come from different parts, but we can agree on something. Now, Goldberg, you tripping. That's pure hate. I don't care what you say. That's pure hate. He ain't Goldberg if Goldberg wrestled for 10 minutes. And the WWE fortunes wouldn't change if Roman Reigns went away. Roman Reigns basically held down the WWE during the pandemic. And it was boring when he was gone for that little bit. It was.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly for a few reasons. And we were at a PLE to see why we can disagree on that.
Right. But then when we go to the most overrated, now we won't talk about if he's the most overrated yet. We're going to go to then shouts out to my man Kaz.
For sure.
And this man saw what Conrad said and was like, hey, hold on. Let me hold on. You put my Black Excellence coffee mug down. We got to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was a couple of things that was said, which is why I'm going to say these things and then I'm going to bring it to Cass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think this is what probably pissed Cass off. Conrad Thompson also tweeted out, go watch Roman pre-Heyman and holler back at me. No main eventer in WWE history has benefited more from having a manager than Roman. We all saw it and hated it. Heyman made us change our mind. Hogan didn't need Jimmy. Austin didn't need DiBiase. Come on. He ain't the GOAT. Pause. I'm going to handle this one, Cam.
Okay. I'm right.
Hulk Hogan had Jimmy Hart at the end of his WWE career.
Yeah.
At the end. So that don't even matter.
Nope.
Austin didn't need DiBiase. Yes, the fuck he did. Because y'all can sit up here and lie. And let me say this. Mm-hmm. I am a day one Steve Austin fan.
Mm-hmm. Same.
You've heard me say on this podcast how I've went back to USWA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I used to watch the NWA, the USWA, and how he used to be on that joint on ESPN, how he was wrestling and I was like, yo, he went to the WCW, and I was like, yo, that's Stunning Steve Austin. And folks were looking at me crazy. Was like, what? Yeah, I know him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a day wonder. So when he went to the WWF as the ringmaster, I had no hope. I had no hope. And being real, the only reason why some people was looking at him was simply because of Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
And even when he turned to Stone Cold, it was still like, wait a minute, hold on. It wasn't until he got into the feud with Savio Vega where we was like, okay, we got something here. We see him. And then when he started tormenting Bret Hart, that's when.
Yeah.
So yes, he needed Ted DiBiase. He did.
Because, hey, and one more thing on the Steve Austin thing, we're not going to change history now. The only commentator or reporter or any person on Steve Austin's side from day one as far as commentating goes is Jesse the Body Ventura. Nobody else talked about Steve Austin glowingly other than Jesse the Body Ventura. He's the one that called him the wrestler of the 90s in the afternoon on WCW when he had no title shot. He came out there with a robe and a valet, and that was it. He was like, there he is, Jim. There's the guy, the wrestler of the 90s, stunning Steve Austin, and nobody bit. So we're not going to because Stone Cold became a national treasure. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Stick to where you were in 1992 and 3 when you didn't see it either. So be clear on that.
And then he also said, talking about Roman Reigns, he wrestled 7 times last year. 600 days without him on Raw. They did fine without him. I'm just saying. Try that shit without Hogan in his era. The entire biz was dependent on him. That's not the case for Roman. He doesn't mean he's not good, just not the GOAT. Now, sorry for the dead air there too. But
Yeah.
I have an issue with everything that he just said right there.
Yeah, because that's a super contradiction from Hulkamania. Hold on, I don't. Hey, wait, hold. And I know we about to do this. I don't want to steal your rhythm.
Like,
But dog, I could have swore I never seen Hulk Hogan wrestling 5 times a year at the peak of Hulkamania. I don't remember him in 5 matches a year in 12 months, a calendar year. I don't remember that.
we can talk all that house show shit all we want to. Everybody ain't going to house shows.
Yeah, and they wasn't on Coliseum video, so we not doing that.
Right. You saw that Rampage 89. Like,
yeah, nah.
I even said on this podcast a couple of episodes ago, the reason why I love Macho Man, because I saw Macho Man all the time.
Yeah.
Compared to Hogan. So it's like, yo, y'all talking about this Hogan dude, but I'm going to save it. Now, this is what Kaz, this is how hot Kaz come in. And for those who might not know, he's the co-host of 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, He co-hosts Hot 97's morning show, Mornings with Mero, but most importantly, in this case, he is one of the hosts on the Ringer Wrestling podcast. And he strongly disagreed. Here's some of what he said. He said, nah, y'all not about to gas like me. I remember WCW pre-Hogan, and it stinks. Dwayne, talking about The Rock, saved his legacy. I said nobody cared about Hogan but versus Sergeant Slaughter, but we cared about Macho Man and the Warrior. And he replied, your man Hulk had stinkers, LMAO, because he knows how I feel about Hogan. If you listen to this podcast, you know how I feel. Hulk Hogan has always been a heel.
For sure.
So he's clearly in the most overrated wrestler of all time category. Is not Roman Reigns. Not by a long shot.
Yeah.
It's Hulk Hogan. It is Terry Bollea. So, there was a couple of things that was mentioned. I mentioned them too when I did my video. This is not, and let me first say, this is not in hindsight. This is not looking back. This is not none of these things. I have always believed that Hulk Hogan was more PR in moments than it was quality matches. And the WWF at the time did great when it came to marketing. And if you wanted a larger-than-life superhero, that's Hulk Hogan.
For sure.
And nobody can take that away from Hulk Hogan. But I'm going to ask this question to you, but I'm going to give mine first to get it out the way. When I think of overrated wrestler, I asked myself, does the pomp and circumstance match the quality of the match?
Okay.
What I mean by that is, let's look at WrestleMania 1. WrestleMania 1 was a house show, basically.
For sure.
That was put on closed circuit television. So I will move that out the way because ain't nobody about to tell me they went back to WrestleMania 1 to see the excellent match between Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, with Jimmy Snuka versus Roddy Piper, Paul Orndorff, Cowboy Bob Orton. You're not about to lie to me.
Yeah, we can't do that.
WrestleMania 2 is the test for WrestleMania 3. Nobody is about to lie to me and say that Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy was a 5-star match.
Yeah, never.
Let's go to WrestleMania 3, the moment, the slam, the emotion. Great match when it comes to that. And I will rewatch that. I rewatched that before. We're not talking about Hogan and Andre at WrestleMania 4, though. We're not.
Yeah, no.
But that led to something. It was the lead to Macho Man. Now, WrestleMania 5, cinema. Oh, my God. WrestleMania 5, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, that's cinema. WrestleMania 6, even though somebody tweeted that out, that it was terrible, no, it wasn't. Hulk Hogan and Warrior was But you not about to sit up here and tell me that Hogan Slaughter was, reason why we care about that is war. All right? That's why we care about that.
Yeah.
And this is a Sid Vicious podcast. This is a
sure.
Sid podcast. This is a Psycho
Forever.
Sid Justice, Sid Vicious. That match with him and Hogan was terrible.
Yeah. Yep. It was so bad that Papa Shango came out, wasn't it? When the one? Yeah.
And Warrior came back. Like, that match was terrible. We can even go look at the other pay-per-views. We don't talk about Mega Powers versus Mega Bucks.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Hogan winning multiple Royal Rumbles. We don't even talk about Hulk Hogan losing to The Undertaker. In fact, the WWF kind of made us forget that The Undertaker was a world champion before he won it again.
Yep, against what, Diesel, right?
Yeah. What I'm saying is Hogan has the PR machine. He's larger than life. And because of what he did, it is well deserved when we talk about the most impactful figures in wrestling history. And he's number one. However, you're not about to sit up here and tell me y'all going back and watching Hulk Hogan matches. You're not about to sit up here and say to me, oh man, let me go pop in this Coliseum home video. Let me go and watch this tape with Hulk Hogan matches. Because they're all the same. And even if they're the same, like, there's multiple wrestling matches, wrestlers that have the same matches. But outside of the emotion of it, you're getting a slam, him being put in a chokehold, and him like this and shaking.
Yeah.
And then you're getting him hawking up, pointing, big boot, leg drop. His leg drop ain't even, we look at it today, and you couldn't even make that a finisher now.
Yeah. Yeah. The only time the leg drop looked devastating to me, Yokozuna. But I digress. Go.
And that didn't look devastating to me. I was waiting for Yokozuna to get up. But Roman does not give you that.
Yeah.
For the most part. Sure. Now, okay, the formula is there. Mm-hmm. But the match quality and the emotion matches. It didn't with Hogan. Mm-hmm. That, when it comes to wrestling in this case, mm-hmm. with these two, is how I look at Overrated. I'm not looking at box office. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking at how many people are on the seats, because you can even though somebody could say, talk about the gates and stuff now, there's a lot of inflation when it comes to this shit.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
The 80s will always be dominant when it comes to that piece. Mm-hmm. We're not talking draw.
Right.
Because here's the other part when it talks about draw.
Okay. That
nobody talks about, which is why I was like, I want to go first in this. Mm-hmm. And this is why I don't like to have a lot of conversations. Mm-hmm. The mid-card was a whole lot better in the 80s than it was now. Mm-hmm. Because you're not about to sit up here and tell me that card was this, and it was just Hulk Hogan on the damn card, when you got Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, Ravishing Rick Rude, Andre the Giant, Bobby the Brain Heenan. All of these people, they were stars. If we want to have a box office conversation, then let's have that. Nobody beats Hulk Hogan in that. But you can't have a box office conversation when your ass is sitting over there broke. So if anybody comes to me talking about box office, you can take that shit over there, because you ain't in the back looking at the numbers and the reports. The only thing we could go by is what we see in the ring. And I can go and look at the big event. I can go look at WrestleMania 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and see that them cards are stacked. And when can you tell me Hulk Hogan had the best match on any card that he's been on a pay-per-view? Nobody can. Nobody can. Nobody. Because when we talk about WrestleMania 3, we talk about the slam, but we talk about the match against Macho Man. The Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And
Yep.
guess what that did? It connected with the fans. So when we talk about overrated, we ain't talking about what somebody did, because you know what? If that is the case, you know who one of the greatest wrestlers of all time is? Jerry the King Lawler, because he owned Memphis.
King of Memphis. Him and
Right.
DJ Paul.
Or we could talk about the Von Erichs, because they own Texas. Nobody's talking about how they made you feel, because if you're talking to me about how wrestling made you feel, I wonder when you lost your virginity.
Yo.
He made me feel like he made me go eat my vitamins and train and all of that shit, and you stayed a virgin until you was 30. We ain't talking about drawing, because there's a whole bunch of people that had great wrestling matches just drawing, because there's a lot of people that had great wrestling matches, and yeah, they didn't draw. This ain't just about that. And again, if your ass is coming to me and talking to me about how a nigga drew and all of this shit, nobody give a shit about that shit, because that money ain't coming to me. We talking about match quality, along with the pomp and circumstance. If you're just coming to me and having a conversation about pomp and circumstance, my brother in Christ, nobody cared about who was in the crowd. You cared about who was in the ring. And the only time, and I mean the only time you could debate and say that it was the match of the night is him versus Rocky.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Let me cook real quick, because I had to get this joint off.
No, this is awesome. I'm enjoying this.
Because what I'm going to say towards when we get to the other part is probably going to surprise some people after what I'm saying.
Okay.
But this is why Macho Man is my favorite wrestler. This is why Macho Man is my favorite wrestler. WrestleMania 2, he made goddamn George the Animal Steel. He had a match with him and made that shit look credible. WrestleMania 3, he had the best match of the night with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He wrestled multiple people at WrestleMania 4. WrestleMania 5, he damn near carried Hulk Hogan. WrestleMania 6, they buried that nigga on the card to go up against some goddamn Dusty Rhodes, and the match was still dope.
Absolutely.
WrestleMania 7, he gave you probably one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time.
It's up there.
And here's the other part that people don't talk about, because see, I'm here to talk about what people don't talk about. That's why I say let me rock. And if you don't think about this shit now, that means you're blind.
You're blind, baby. You're blind from the facts. You're blind.
Let's look at when Macho Man was 1A or 1B. That's WrestleMania 4. And you saw what he did. That's WrestleMania 5. You saw what he did. And you could say Macho King, WrestleMania 6. When Macho Man was 1B, he gave you better wrestling matches. And people were going to these arenas to go see him too. But you only worried about pomp and circumstance. You only worried about saying your prayers, training, and take your vitamins. You only worried about taking the shirt off. You only worried about what you're seeing from a dude in the ring take some shit off and make you happy. Macho Man made you happy and gave you quality matches. So and not only just quality matches, Macho Man, during the time that he was supposedly 1B, was giving you the matches of the night, while Hulk Hogan was giving you the moments of the night. And this is how I'll end this off before I pass it to you. Even though Hogan is Hogan, which move did you stand up for? The leg drop or the elbow off the top rope?
The bionic elbow off the top rope.
So again, we can have a you want to have a conversation about box office until you actually go into WWFE Titan and bring those reports. You can have a conversation about box office all you want. But I can tell you this without a shadow of a doubt. Just because you had the highest grossing movie, that don't mean that you had the best movie. Because very rarely do you see an Oscar be given to a movie that drew the most.
True. Facts.
And that's why you can say that Samuel L. Jackson is probably the highest grossing paid actor to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But ain't nobody gonna say that he's a better actor than Denzel Washington.
Yeah. I dig it.
Floor is yours.
Man, that was amazing, first of all.
And I'm glad I didn't look at these comments because Awesome Sauce, hey fam, you want to have a conversation about box office, my G? We not doing that here. We talk about wrestling over here, my G.
For sure. So, with regard to everything you said, I do want to take Conrad at his literal first sentence. And this is where I was going to go to just open up the spectrum here. Because he said, I think Roman Reigns is quite possibly the most, well, not even say quite possibly, he said he is the most overrated main eventer.
Exactly.
In wrestling. And I was just like, oh. When he said that, I was like, nah. And wildly enough, hey, look, I didn't immediately think Hulk Hogan either.
Right. That's why. Let me shut up.
Yes. I didn't literally think Hulk Hogan either.
Shut up.
So let me shoot Awesome Sauce a little bit of bail.
Yeah, because Awesome Sauce need to watch the show. We don't talk about flip-flops and all of this shit. We don't do that here.
But let me shoot him a little bit of bail because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. And I thought my heel turn was about to be in full effect.
Go ahead.
Because I was gonna say Bret Hart.
That's why.
Hey, look.
Don't give your list yet.
Right,
give your list yet. Go ahead.
Right. Because, and look, I love every time somebody gives Bret Hart a live mic, especially now that he's retired. I love what he thinks about the world of wrestling. Right. I do. But some people think that his wrestling catalog is beyond reproach. And we really sit in this area where we have so much reverence for Bret Hart being the excellence of execution and all these things. But nothing should ever distract you from the fact that, yeah, it might be a snake move for WrestleMania 9. Hulk Hogan can step in and beat Yokozuna in 11 to 19 seconds and take the title. But what you should be way more concerned about is why Vince McMahon thought that would be okay. I mean, hey, look, did you watch the WrestleMania 9 doc? That wasn't selling. And when we're talking about most overrated main eventer, I don't think anything screams more I ain't the main event than the guy who gets stole.
Yeah.
And that's past his prime. And that ain't really got the right sauce yet. It comes 3-4 years later, I believe.
Awesome Sauce, we not in our 20s. Keep going.
Yeah. No, exactly.
We not in our 20s, but thank you.
Yeah. Respect though. You got it. But I look at that and I say, okay. That ain't good. And then, I mean, does the boyhood dream still end up being the boyhood dream if Shawn Michaels don't beat Bret Hart? And I gotta say, yeah. I think Shawn Michaels at that point in time in his life, he could have beat anybody. And that, now granted, I'm not saying the quality of the match is going to be 60-minute Iron Man, but hey, we've watched win or lose, because you know how I feel about the Mr. WrestleMania topic. Mm-hmm. But we've watched win or lose Shawn Michaels go out to any arena in any city and give you the best 20 to 30 matches you might even see of the year. let alone the night.
I gotta stop. I gotta turn off these comments because Awesome Sauce said that that WrestleMania 9 didn't sell out until they announced Hulk. But then go look at WrestleMania 7 when it was announced in one arena, but they had to put it in another arena because tickets wasn't selling as they wanted to. This is why we say stop looking at the box office. We talking about the wrestling, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, but you know, go boy, Sean. What up, Shannon? Hey, so you know, but I look at this, and when you just look at those two moments alone, and now just add on to the fact that yes, Bret Hart as a wrestler was a very hot commodity, but when you look at it, he's a 5-time world champion, and you don't remember him in 5 WrestleManias being the headline.
Yeah.
So. And then it gets no better in WCW. And I had to Google it. I forgot. Yeah, he did beat Ric Flair for the world title over there. And I was just like, oh damn, but did we watch that? That's not even, they don't even talk about that as a pay-per-view.
Yeah, that was in Saskatchewan. That was in Saskatchewan, and they just told us on Superstars. It was like, oh, guess what happened?
Well, yeah. Well, look. But they also did this. I want to say they redid that moment again for Bret Hart in WCW, and it still didn't move the needle like that. So I say that to say when we're talking about most overrated main eventer, because I'm going to use your literal words. If we're talking about overrated wrestler, fine, have that. That's cool. But the first person I thought of was Bret the Hitman Hart, respectfully. And again, much as Banks has been telling y'all for years now, overrated don't mean whack, it don't mean trash, it don't mean that you're incapable of being somebody great. Because Bret Hart is great. He's all-time great at the actual act of wrestling. But if we're talking about main eventing, yeah, he's high up on that list for overrated main eventers. Now, thought some more, and obviously there's a 3-headed monster that exists. So again, we should never be talking about Roman Reigns. We should never be talking about Roman Reigns. And respectfully, and I get it about all of them, and this is a former Hulkamaniac, okay? So I get it. I may be a little biased, but there's a 3-headed monster I think that exists in this overrated main eventer conversation, and I'm going to let y'all do me the honors of picking one, because I think everybody is basically fighting for the top spot here. It goes without saying Goldberg. It goes without saying Goldberg should be like, and Goldberg is my pick, by the way. I want to get that out there. But I'm also going to say this. Y'all are no longer, especially now that they're both in retirement, neither one of you, nobody in this world now is going to inflate and conflate the main event status of Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. I'm sorry. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We cannot do this any longer. And coincidentally,
I'm here for this conversation.
Hey, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, and The Undertaker. We got to pick one. Enough of this Hulk Hogan stuff to a degree, but enough of this Roman Reigns stuff, please. And you're talking to somebody that I wouldn't even know on board with the whole big dog era. I wasn't on board at all. I was like, this ain't doing it for me. This ain't doing it for me. But the thing is, though, that's how it's happening, because women, if nothing else, because they influence most of the purchases, women and children influence most of the purchases that go on in just the world, the globe. This ain't even an America thing. This is the globe thing. This is an Earth thing. When women are like, hey, he kind of looks like Aquaman, that's a ticket sale.
Yeah.
That's a t-shirt sale. That's I'm gonna tune into Raw again. I'm gonna we can't ignore that. Yeah, hey, and I get it. We're men. I believe most of us that tune into our show are heterosexual, but I don't care what your orientation is. Yeah, but we don't care at all. But women wanting to see Roman Reigns is money. It's money. And it's viewership and it's listening time, it's TSL, it's all of that. So that alone, Roman Reigns just can't be in this conversation to me. But if you're going to tell me that you even feel that Brock Lesnar should have main evented more PLEs or Goldberg should have, then you're obviously bugging, because you're talking about 10 minutes. Now, and that was a contradictory thing about what Conrad had to say about Roman Reigns. Goldberg wrestled 10 minutes because he could only wrestle 10 minutes. He didn't have the repertoire to give you 15. Hell, he didn't have the repertoire to give you 12. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally not in this makeup. It's not. It was never there. So I don't know how Goldberg is getting off of these lists. How is Goldberg not number one? Like, he's the WCW champion and the number one slot in overrated main eventer to me.
So to be respectful, that we're the ones who's going to put out a list. We're the ones. We're the ones who's going to put out our list. We're the ones that people like Awesome Sauce, who love Greg the Hammer Valentine, and anything from 1974 to 1985 is going to be like, y'all too young to know about when Iron Mike Sharp wasn't a jobber. Yeah. We're the only ones. Yeah. We're the only ones.
Yeah,
so
man.
Matter of fact, fuck it, because you already named a couple. So let's get to it. This is in no particular order, by the way. I'm just going to give you 5 that I think that we need to have a conversation, because everything that I said about Hulk Hogan, if you had to pick between Roman Reigns and Hulk Hogan, I am going to choose Hulk Hogan 5 days out of the week and twice on the weekend. Hulk Hogan, and y'all heard what I said. My requirement when we talk about overrated, which overrated does not mean whack. When it comes to wrestling, does the pomp and circumstance match the match? Yeah. Can I go back and look back at said match and be like, I want to watch that again and again and again, or do I want to hear that moment? We've said this name a couple of times. And again, this is not in no particular order. But The Undertaker is on this list because I spent half of my childhood thinking that this dude was dead.
Yes.
And main event status. He won the belt on Sunday, lost it on Tuesday, and he was an attraction. See, there's main events and there's attractions, but when y'all start to tell me that this dude is a main event, no, he's more of an attraction to me. Nothing against The Undertaker, but when we look at his entire career, not the middle to the back end, I'm talking about his entire career. I'm like, y'all, this is really just an attraction to me. Yeah. It's not main event. It's not I'm staying to the end of the night to watch The Undertaker. Now, the only fallback of The Undertaker is, Undertaker has given you some quality ass matches. His match with Kurt Angle, I think, is No Mercy, is one of the best matches of all time. His matches with Shawn Michaels and Batista and Triple H at WrestleMania, some dope matches, but I'm not looking at that Undertaker and that's it. Right. I'm looking at The Undertaker from when he got here to when he left. Yeah. And that before WrestleMania 13. WrestleMania 13, it's like, he's just the person that's going to walk around dead, pale, and all of that stuff. Yeah. That, to me, when we talk about what Conrad said. Because it took a decade it took a decade of the destruction to get to all of that. It took a whole decade to get to that. And I know this is going to make somebody mad when we having a conversation about overrated. The most overrated stat in wrestling is The Undertaker's undefeated streak. I don't want to hear shit about The Undertaker's undefeated streak when his shit involves Jimmy Snuka, a crackhead Jake Roberts,
Kamala,
Mark Henry, Nathan Jones, Giant Gonzalez. He don't start wrestling people until he wrestles Triple H the first time.
And it technically don't even count.
Right, technically don't even count.
Because they're in the 200 section. That's what it is.
So, like, Undertaker's on my list.
Yeah, because to be real, when you look back at it, it was kind of the future endeavor match of WrestleMania. It's like, oh yeah, we have to get rid of you. Hey, yo, we'll put you out there with the Undertaker. It's cool.
Yeah.
We'll give you one more. Give you one more payday. Get you out of here.
Let me say this: if y'all thought that Conrad Thompson and Kaz made y'all mad with Roman Reigns and Hulk Hogan, on my list gonna make people mad. It's gonna make people mad that people I don't have on there. But you gave you gave 3 already, so I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up. All right. Another person on my list is Bret the Hitman Hart.
Hey.
When there's a conversation out here that they thought about giving Tito Santana the world championship, but they gave it to you, yeah, hey, I get it. And don't get me wrong, I love Bret Hart, and I love Bret Hart even now because he's honorary, he hate Goldberg, all of that shit. But Bret, we don't talk about, like, we ain't gonna say we don't talk about you in the Attitude Era because we do. But you ain't the first or the second, all right? You're not the first or the second, okay? You are an amazing wrestler. But when I went to go play the video game, I didn't say, let me go get Bret Hart. See, Bret Hart to me, like I say, Hulk Hogan pomp and circumstance didn't match the match quality. Mm-hmm. Bret Hart's pomp and circumstance didn't match the match quality.
No.
Bret Hart match is going to be here. But hearing Vince McMahon try to put this man over the workhorse as a main eventer, no, I don't want to hear that shit. And I love Bret Hart, but we saw Conrad said most overrated main eventer, so to take him by the main eventer word, Bret Hart is on this list. The third one I have, because you said Undertaker, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar.
Yep, and Bret Hart.
I'm going to move away from Goldberg. That's a gimme.
Yeah, for sure.
But Brock Lesnar is on my list too. I don't want to hear shit about Brock Lesnar being a main eventer. He's just a dude. Now, granted, he's a dude that just whooped everybody's ass. Mm-hmm. But his time in the WWE was spotty enough to where he does not have the sustained excellence in the main event for me to put him on a list of the way that people try to throw him in there when it comes to main eventers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he scared you. Yeah, he damn near killed Randy Orton with that fucking elbow. And he beat the shit out of John Cena and all these things and the Roman Reigns. But when we say, what would somebody be without somebody? Where would Brock Lesnar be without Roman Reigns? It would just be him and Cena, literally. Because we don't even talk about him and the Undertaker. That's the crazy, because we don't even talk about him and the Undertaker like that. So he really, to me, has 2 foils. John Cena, Roman Reigns, that's it. He's not been there long enough to put him in the top 5 of main eventers. So that'd be 3 right there. You gave some, name the ones that you name, and then add another one to the list.
Yeah. So we are crystal clear. In my world of most overrated main eventer, I got Goldberg as being the WCW champion and the #1 contender, right? Yep. So that's knocking out one. I got Brock Lesnar. I got The Undertaker. I got Bret the Hitman Hart. I do. So number 5, and I was trying to really analyze the game of just wrestling in general. And I don't know if it should even count, to be real with you. I'm not really sure if it should count, but I'm kind of at a stalemate on number 5. Now, granted, I could just lean on Hulk Hogan because I think he would earn the spot. Contrary to popular belief, I really don't think John Cena should be in the top 5 because I do think there are several different modes of John Cena, and one wasn't for us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I tell you right now, John Cena is not in mine.
Yeah, like Thugonomics John Cena was just like a new wave of kind of character. I think Fruity Pebble T-shirt John Cena is strictly for the kids. Hey, but look, mighty fine speech, John Cena. No, listen, hey, don't care how you feel. That guy's great. When it was a mighty fine speech, John Cena looked like Thanos out there. And so I never put John Cena on this list, right? So now, for the guy that's got to round out the top spot, maybe Bret Hart's place got to be moved. And to let y'all just know where my mind was going, I thought about putting Daniel Bryan out there.
I thought about it too.
You know what I'm saying? I thought about it. Hey, listen, and I bet to everybody's delight, I thought about putting Chris Benoit out there. I did. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, there was a brief moment. I said, man, maybe Triple H should be on this list. But man, sticking to the script, most overrated main eventer. No way can I close out my top 5 without The Rock.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Because and this is how ill it is to put him on this list, right? Because The Rock went from being hated in wrestling to being the first biracially black world champion, and it was a moment, right? He leaves.
Wait. You're not gonna say that. You're not gonna say that line and skate by this.
He the first
black.
He the first ambiguous champion. I said biracial before. You know what I'm saying? He was the first biracial champion, the first racially ambiguous champion of the WWF at the time. You know what I'm saying? That's what. Hey, look. But then dig it. So he leave, become a much bigger star, come back. Wrestling ain't even feeling it. He comes back to beat Steve Austin finally at a WrestleMania, and that ain't even his best match. So now he leave again. So now he is kind of the guy that is like the part-timer champion, usher me in kind of dude, right?
Yeah.
But let's really be real. Does those WrestleManias that he's headlining with John Cena, do they sell what they sell if John Cena not in the match? I think those things like that is important. Like, you want to talk about having the greatest just run of foils, greatest run of opponents. The Rock's resume is littered. Hey, thank you. Shannon, thank you. That's literally, he had to be the Scorpion King just to beat the Rattlesnake. He literally had to do it. But he's littered with Austin matches, Triple H matches, Hogan match, Cena matches. They've never even given him the ball on who might be next. Except that SummerSlam with Brock Lesnar. That's the only time. Yeah, you always a star if you next to the guy that's also a star. Who did he ever make in the main event? He never solidified John Cena. John Cena was John Cena. John Cena ethered him when he was like, you know what? I've been a part of more WrestleManias than you have. And you've been here way before. I was watching you on TV. I watched you, but I'm in more WrestleMania main events than you. How does that work? So, listen, love The Rock. He is the greatest ambiguously race wrestler in the WWE. Potentially. I gotta check out some other, ancestry things. But not to digress from my point, there is an argument that he could be at the top of this list Because at least in all of the other people's resume, somebody else became a bigger star because of it. That's why I can't put John Cena on this list. That's why I can't put Triple H on this list, because, hey, look, no matter how we feel about WrestleMania 19, that was a great move for Booker T, even in the long run. In the long run. You can't name one star or one match where The Rock created somebody. All he did was cement his own legacy. And we don't remember a lot of them matches. So that's my top 5. Goldberg, Brock, Taker, Hitman, Rocky.
Ooh, okay. I was not expecting. I forgot my list already. In no particular order, I had The Undertaker, Bret Hart, Brock Lesnar, Hulk Hogan was on there, so that's my 4.
Mm-hmm.
My 5th one, and I thought about this long and hard because I ain't want to dump on my man, because anytime something happens in the industry right now, they're dumping on him. It's easy to put Triple H on this list.
For sure.
It is very easy to put Triple H on this list. Shawn Michaels will never be on this list for me. He's not Mr. WrestleMania, but he will never be on this list for me. I know why y'all put him as Mr. WrestleMania, but you know those first runs, fam. You can't put Mr. WrestleMania main event on that bitch if y'all want to.
Right.
If y'all want to do it like that, do it like that. But there's one person, because if we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about everybody. We're not going to talk about just WWE. And you had mentioned it with Goldberg. And that's also a reason why Hulk Hogan is on that list. Because nobody's going to have a conversation about overrated or under. Nobody's going to have a conversation about Hulk Hogan and all that stuff. We're not going to talk about the Dungeon of Doom era. Where's Awesome Sauce at? Come back on there.
Hey, yo, pull up Awesome Sauce. Y'all about to have a conversation.
Pull up Awesome Sauce. Because we're not going to sit up there and have a conversation about Hulk Hogan and Overrated and only talk about the WWF. Because when that man went over to WCW, after Ric Flair, it's stinkers, my G.
Yep, absolutely.
It is stinkers. And there's no worse era in wrestling for me than Hulk Hogan, or let me rephrase that. There's no worse main event era in wrestling than Hulk Hogan versus the Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah.
Them men, they would have brought back Andre the Giant if they could have, and they did it with the Giant. But Hulk Hogan, Kamala, Hulk Hogan, Avalanche, Hulk Hogan, very racist to Jews name wrestler, Hulk Hogan, the Yeti, Hulk Hogan versus anybody that they could just bring up out of the dirt. And y'all not going to have a conversation about Overrated and Hulk Hogan and not bring up early WCW? Hell no. That was some of the worst main eventing from any side. The fact that the Yeti came and was it Tony's running, here comes the Yeti! And he's just walking around and he humps Hulk Hogan. No. If we going to talk about Hulk Hogan, we just can't talk about January 1984. Like my man said, like Awesome Sauce said, the masked wrestler. We're not going to do that. We're not going to have a conversation about Hulk Hogan 1984 until, 1993. And then skip over everything and then start talking about the NWO. No, my brother in Christ, we got to talk about the Dungeon of Doom because that shit was the pits.
Yeah, that was like
the pits.
Yeah, year one WCW Hulkster was like the Lifetime movie of wrestling. Like, like how they casted that Aaliyah Lifetime movie. It's like the Aaliyah Lifetime movie by Wendy Williams of wrestling.
We're not gonna skip. All right, we're not gonna skip.
Yeah.
But the way that they used to talk about this dude in WCW when he got into the main event, I said, nope, y'all not gonna do it. Y'all not gonna do that. And that's Diamond Dallas Page. What the if we're gonna have a real conversation, bang, yes, we're gonna have a real conversation. I love Diamond Dallas Page because of where he came from.
Good God.
The way he went.
Yeah.
But Lord have mercy, when they tried to put that man over as a true main eventer in WCW, I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? See, this is why I said we're going to have a real conversation about main eventing. We're going to have a real conversation about main eventing. Diamond Dallas Page and main eventer still don't, and he's a 2-time WCW world champion.
Right.
No, my brother. No. I'm so glad of what they're doing, what he's doing to help other older wrestlers and all that stuff. With
sure.
DDP yoga, all of that stuff. But if we don't have a conversation about main eventing, we have to put other organizations up in there. And there is, and Donnie, I was going there. There is a couple of other people I can name. Edge is one of them. Edge is one of them.
We cooking. Hey, we cooking. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. We cooking.
I was debating on 3 wrestlers.
Yo.
I was debating on 3 wrestlers.
Okay.
Just so you know, yeah, Bang ain't just throwing this out and we just doing the segment.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like I said, I got Undertaker, no particular order.
Right.
Undertaker, Brock, Bret Hart, Hogan. I was thinking about 3 wrestlers for that 5th spot. 3 wrestlers. Diamond Dallas Page, Edge, and Diesel. Because my brother in Christ, Diesel may have had the worst match I've ever seen in my life. And that was him versus Sid Vicious at what's that? In Your House. It was the second one. It was a lumberjack match. So I went over my cousin's house to see this shit.
Hey, listen.
Fam.
Listen.
Hey,
and what's so ill about your list? Hold up. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What's so ill about your list is that they put these guys with the Undertaker.
Right.
Hey, listen. Don't let nothing ever distract you from the fact that 2-time WCW world champion Diamond Dallas Page, when he made his debut in the WWE, they had him as the pervert stalker again for Sarah that set up him versus the Undertaker.
Right. So there's a couple of people you could probably just like tie and put all of, and I can't stress this enough. Overrated does not mean whack, because I love Diamond Dallas Page.
Absolutely.
I love Diesel, Kevin Nash, and I do like Edge. But Conrad Thompson said main event. And I had to think, and I'm like, if Diamond Dallas Page was somebody else, WCW will probably still be around.
For sure.
So I gotta put Diamond Dallas Page in the over. For me, I have to put him in the overrated.
Yeah.
Main eventer. Because the way they was, my brother, Diamond Dallas Page was a high mid-carder that they gave 2 joints to, and he had a devastating move. But my brother, when we talk, you have to overrate, for me, you have to overrate the Edge. Edge gets a pass because John Cena and The Undertaker, Kevin Nash, Undertaker, good friends, bad enemies, the NWO, and all of that stuff. But let me go back to Hulk Hogan real quick before I talk about underrated. Let me go back to Hulk Hogan. Somebody's going to have to explain to me. And I might clip this just because. I might clip this just because. Somebody's going to have to explain to me, when we talk about Hulk Hogan, while we go from 84 to 93, then we skip after the Ric Flair joints and just go straight to the NWO. The Dungeon of Doom is some of the worst shit. I don't know who wrote that. I don't know if it was Dusty Rhodes. I don't know if it was Eric Bischoff. I don't know who it was. But that whole thing, like the match to end Hulkamania, whatever it is, when they had all of the wrestlers in the cage and shit, and they had to go from the top on down.
I'm gonna blame Kevin Sullivan. I'm just sorry.
Maybe it's Kevin Sullivan.
I'm gonna blame him.
But that why we don't talk about that? If we don't talk about Hulk Hogan's whole career from not even his whole career. If we gonna talk about Hulk Hogan from 1984, no. We gonna have to talk about it all. And that era of Hulkamania was some of the worst wrestling that I've ever seen him do. I was hoping Vader whooped his ass, and was it the Rapapai strap match?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What was his name of that shit? The
The
Rapapai.
the rapper, whatever. Yeah,
The Rapapai
sure.
strap match.
I was like, what? What kind of strap? But like, what happened to Texas leather? I don't get it.
Yeah, what just happened to a regular strap match? It was like the Rapapai strap match. Hulk Hogan, in the beginning of WCW, is why the NWO existed, y'all. It was so terrible that the NWO existed because how shit was so terrible with Hulk Hogan when he got to WCW after them Ric Flair matches. The fact that we saw Ric Flair teaming up with the Dungeon of Doom and all of this shit to take down Hulkamania, y'all not gonna sit up there and have a Terry Bollea conversation and skip that part and act like he lost to Yokozuna and then the next day started the NWO and he didn't even start that shit.
Right.
So when we have a conversation about Hulk Hogan, this is what we don't need to skip. King Kong Bundy, the Dungeon of Doom. Don't do that. Don't just go to Roddy Piper and then Andre the Giant, because y'all skipping over Paul Orndorff too, and that's wrong. Don't skip over. Don't then go and skip Papa Shango, Sid Justice, and then skip over Yokozuna, then to go to WCW and be like, hey, you had Ric Flair. Nope. You also had the Dungeon of Doom too.
Yeah.
Don't do that. No, We're not gonna do that. If we gonna have that, let's do it. Because the only reason why the NWO exists is because Eric Bischoff was like, yo, this shit's terrible over here.
Yeah.
And we gotta do something. Because WWF is kicking our ass. So we not about to sit up here and skip over the pits that is the Dungeon of Doom storyline that went on for too long.
Oh, for sure. Hey, listen, I'm with you. I've been waiting to say this because when you said Diamond Dallas Page, and I love all the Who Killed WCW like documentaries and all of that, but man, Conrad, you and Eric, before y'all get to 83 weeks, y'all need to have a real conversation about how the other real reason that WCW was killed is because y'all had no real main eventers that was drawn them last 2 years when things went in disarray. And hey, look, respect to Booker T being the champion. I guess can we respect Coach Benoit with the belt? I don't even know. I don't even want to get into it.
He won it in WCW, and the next day he was gone.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So but I say those things, Diamond Dallas Page and all that. You couldn't use Bret Hart. We get it. Y'all had Goldberg. Think about it. And so when you have that kind of resume on your way out, it's like, yeah, Sting can't put everybody over. Yeah. Ric Flair tried. But when we get into these conversations, when we're talking about overrated main eventers, in my mind now, we've named about 15 people that should never be spoken about. That should be spoken about way before y'all get to Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
To bring it back home, Roman Reigns is the most, where and how? Because what? No way. And this is not me being a P1 Roman Reigns fan. I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, there's no way he can be in this conversation just off of this segment alone. There's no way it can happen.
That's just you don't like a person. And look, that's his opinion, and that's what he wants, and that's his opinion. That's cool. Well, we're just, and even with the Hulk Hogan shit, there's a couple other people that I can name before Hulk Hogan. What I'm saying is y'all, if we gonna have these conversations, we gotta be able to look and be like, all right, let's look at this whole spectrum. And there's a lot of more overrated main eventers out there. And quite honestly, because they may have wrestled in your era, you won't put them there.
Yeah.
That's why it looks like Awesome Sauce might be like 55.
Yeah.
60.
So, hey, but messing with that Bob Backlund talk too, bud.
There you go. Because
I don't care how long he held the belt. I never, until he showed up in that Royal Rumble, I never heard nobody talking about Bob Backlund until he showed up at that Royal Rumble.
Hey,
respectfully.
So that is overrated. But I'm gonna do let's underrated. Who are main eventers that we probably should be talking about more? I kicked it off. Well, technically, you kicked it off with naming like 5 niggas before you even got to the joint. So let me just say, underrated Macho Man. We do not talk about Macho Man enough as a main eventer. We don't. And it's a disservice to wrestling, in my opinion, that we don't talk about Macho Man the way that we should, especially as a main eventer. Even as a mid-carder, he was out here having better matches than a lot of people. And then he got on the main event scene, and then he gave you matches with DiBiase, with Hogan, with Warrior, Ric Flair. You know, some of the things he did in WCW. Nobody talks about Macho Man in the way that they should. So in this case, if we want to talk about somebody that was is being more underrated by the day when we had these conversations, Macho Man is high on my list, and he would be number one. Should not be number one, but Macho Man is very underrated for what he did as a main eventer. Who you got?
No, I'm with you on the Macho Man for sure. Definitely with you on Macho Man for sure. Underrated, man. Trying to do a quick scan of just wrestling. And you know what? Let me, to give me a little time, I'm going to tell you who I'm on the fence with. And I'm going to shoot them some bail. I'm going to shoot them some bail. Because I really don't know whether to put him over or underrated, but I don't think it's his fault. I think Sting could possibly be an underrated main eventer because on one hand, I don't think the right talent made it to the WCW for him to really show everything that he could do. But I can't ignore the fact that he didn't talk for 2 years and people couldn't wait to see him. So, like, literally, Sting as an underrated main eventer, man, it's hard to not put him there because, man, dude, we should have got Shawn Michaels versus Sting. You know what I mean? Hell, we should have got Sting, Triple H. We should have got
as they're young, when they're young.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when I'm telling y'all this, I'm talking about 94 to 2002. like if anything, I'm talking like 93 to 94, but to definitely like 2002. And I feel like that's like the apex of probably Sting's best work would have been in that time. But you know, they wasted it on Hogan, Goldberg, and damn Hugh Morris and fucking I respect Hugh Morris because I mess with you, bro. Like, I think you're dope. You know what I'm saying? But come on, man. There should have been more. Like, I think if the focal point, to your point, to me, who probably should be the number one guy, Macho Man Sting, I think a year of that changes the complexion of WCW, no matter who's the heel and who's the face. I really do believe that. But when you got him wrestling Luger every time because he's just the loyal to a fault best friend, and you're waiting for Scott Steiner to be Big Papa Pump, and then we don't even do that right. It's like, you know, there's a lot. People talk about bad booking a lot in this era. Boy, if you look at Sting's career from 96 to 99, that's the epitome of bad booking to me in a lot of ways. Because Sting is way greater than even the stuff he did. So for me, gotta throw Sting on that list. What up, Banks?
Oh yeah, Sting is definitely on my list. He was going to be the next person on my list, but you said it. So I'm gonna add Vader to this list.
Oh,
I told y'all last episode that I told y'all last episode that Ron Simmons winning the world championship was more about him beating Vader than it was him being black. Because how scared I was of Vader.
Yeah.
There was not a wrestler, in my opinion, during my time that scared me more than Vader. When he got there, it's like, yo, he about to beat everybody's ass. And they put his ass right in the main event. Go look at Vader's WCW run. And you tell, that is all, as we talk about a lot of these people, and a lot of these people, we're talking about our faces. But when we talk about main event as a heel, for me in my day in watching wrestling, there's no scarier heel in the main event than Big Van Vader. And having that, go watch Ric Flair in the limo with Mean Gene Okerlund. He says bye to his family. He say bye to Ashley and Reed and the kids. Daddy about to go die. He's about to go wrestle Vader. In the main event at Super Brawl. Go watch us think that Hulk Hogan's about to die because he about to go wrestle Vader. Go look at what Vader did when he wrestled Sting and basically squashed his ass. He squashed him for the championship. Niggas was like, yo, we ain't never seen Sting get beat like this.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So we talking about main eventers and people that's underrated. People look at that WCW run because Shawn Michaels crackhead ass did what he did. But Vader in WCW, in the main event, it was always fear that accompanied him. And that's why, because of that, and as a heel, he's very underrated. So I got Macho Man, Sting, Vader. You got Sting. Who else you got?
I mean, shoot, I agree with you on Macho Man. I agree with you on Vader. So we kind of still at 3-3. But I was looking at some of the comments, some of these names that flooded my mind. So I think I don't know if the right word is underrated for Kurt Angle, but I do feel like we should talk about him.
We should talk about him more.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's something to be said about a guy, to Donnie's point, WWE, TNA, and he's the Olympics. Like Kurt Angle is probably, if not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's probably in everything considered. He probably is the best wrestler ever because he's literally wrestled in any kind of environment and has just been a winner, right? There's that one thing. But I mean, he was quite the salesman. He's quite the entertainer. And when we're talking about people being overrated, underrated, who's the best, who's the greatest, for me, and again, I'm not trying to disrespect a legend, but Kurt Angle literally is everything y'all say Bret Hart is. Like he legit is. Like he is literally that. Hey, if this was real life, you could never out wrestle dude. Hey, in real life, dude, beat your ass. Hey, he can win a title anywhere. He can main event anywhere. There's another era that you can't put him in, and this wouldn't be. Kurt Angle is literally everything y'all say Bret Hart is, but he proved it. He proved it on drugs. He proved it with a broken neck. Hey, listen, he proved it. He couldn't even move his whole entire spine and had vertebrae issues because they put him in the Shield and got them over some more. Hashtag pray for Kurt. First Black Champ podcast. Put that there first. So, in that regard, I guess he is underrated. But I just wanted to bring up Kurt Angle in this conversation because the reverence ain't high enough for me, if I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah, we don't. You're right. I believe everything that y'all say Bret Hart is, that's Kurt Angle. and we need to talk about that more. Now, this is probably gonna cause me some flack. Like, you tripping? You one of the greatest of all.
Oh, never mind. I was gonna say you might be named. I'm about to name. Never mind. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I know somebody's gonna name like, yo, Bang, you tripping? But I have a reason for this. Ric Flair.
Okay.
I don't because of Hulk Hogan's overshadowing him. If Crockett in WCW during the heyday of Ric Flair had half of the money that the WWF had, we be talking about Ric Flair a lot more and a lot differently. See, and this is why I scale with who I talk to when it comes to these things. Because if you're going to talk to me about Hulk Hogan all the time, well, there was a person who was a champ before Hulk Hogan and during Hulk Hogan that we didn't talk about enough. And that was Ric Flair, unless you watch WCW a lot.
Facts.
You didn't see WCW. You didn't see Ric Flair cartoons. You didn't see Ric Flair on the cover of cereal boxes. You didn't see Ric Flair in music videos. A lot of y'all saw Ric Flair when Ric Flair was in his 40s. Let's keep it a buck.
Facts.
A lot of y'all saw Ric Flair when Ric Flair was in his 40s. A lot of y'all didn't see Wrestle War or fuck Wrestle War. Hulk Hogan may have been Hulk Hogan, but in 1989, you can't tell me a better wrestler than Ric Flair. Ric Flair main evented damn near all of the 1980s in WCW, NWA Crockett promotions. But we don't talk about that a lot. We know the Four Horsemen and all of that stuff, but we don't talk about Ric Flair in his prime. And to keep it a buck, older folks don't do that enough.
The people that were really those. The people that were really there.
Those who be like, oh, yeah, but then that Ric Flair, yeah. But then when the Hulk Hogan names run around, then y'all want to get your pitchforks and stuff. And y'all want to get your lights and light them up. And, you know, Hulk Hogan's the man. Hulk Hogan's the man. Hulk Hogan's the man. Man, Ric Flair gave you great matches with everybody. And he traveled everywhere. That is the epitome of a main event. That man was main eventing in Puerto Rico. That man was main eventing in Japan. That man was main eventing in Mexico. That man was main eventing against Tatsumi Fujinami and all them old niggas and all of that stuff. And then he'd go to Puerto Rico and bleed against Carlos Colon and all of this shit. And we still having Hulk Hogan conversations. Like, that's why he's underrated.
Yeah, you got hey,
Ric Flair was doing all of this shit. He going to Texas and dropping the belt because part of main event is making people. Let me go down to Texas and drop this belt to Kerry Von Erich because his brothers died. Then let me go get this bitch back in Japan and everything. Let me go drop this belt to Rugged Rodney Garvin. Then let me go ahead and get this bitch back. Let me get the Flair to Gold in 1981 and get that bitch back. And then drop it to Dusty Rhodes and then get it back. And then the way that we don't talk about Ric Flair in the way that we should because we always talking about Hulk Hogan. And when Ric Flair ass is gone, you think we gonna get the ESPN packages and all of this shit like we got with Hulk Hogan? No, we're not.
Better though.
But when we talking about wrestler in the ring, between the two, Hulk Hogan can't lace Ric Flair's boots when it comes to wrestling.
No.
That's why Ric Flair will actually be on my list. A lot of people be like, yo, Bang, you tripping because that's Ric Flair. But you go look and see how much people talk about 1989 to Ric Flair or them Dusty Rhodes feuds or even when he got older, people were saying he was washed, but he given us great matches with Rick Rude and Vader and all of those things. And he Ric Flair stayed in the main, and you did something we might have to look at. Who stayed in the main event picture longer?
Oh, Ric Flair, easily. Because, hey, look, you put a lot of things in perspective with that thing about 1989. Ric Flair goes and does all that in the 80s, and we still talking about the body slam that happened 4 years ago. And that's crazy. That is crazy. For all you wrestling purists, wrestling elitists, all you wrestling fans, like, the best way to combat Hulk Hogan with however you feel about him is highlighting Ric Flair. Wow. And you know what? Obviously, I mean, we were children, but we've had enough time to go back and we've seen old Ric Flair matches and what have you. But man, you putting it in that perspective of like why he would be underrated, it's like, yeah, because hey, look, for a person like me too that came to WCW late, there is something to be said about why Ric Flair was able to leave with the belt and do all these things, but yet me not understanding the star power that existed if Ric Flair were to face Hulk Hogan at a WrestleMania. Like I even in real time, I didn't get it. I was a kid, I didn't get it.
But here's the other part about that. Ric Flair put over Hulk Hogan in front of Ric Flair's audience. Hulk Hogan didn't put over Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan's audience. That's part of the main event, right?
Yep.
That's part of the main event, right?
Absolutely.
Vince McMahon saw Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan at a house show and was like, nah, I don't want to do this at WrestleMania. And he made the decision to give us Ric Flair versus Macho Man, which was not a bad decision.
No.
But then give us Hulk Hogan versus Sid Justice, which was like, straight.
Yeah.
Who had the better match between the two?
It ain't even close. Flair Macho. It ain't even close.
And during their times together in the WWF, who had the better matches? Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan? There should not be a debate. Yeah. It was Ric Flair. We don't talk about that enough.
That's true.
So and that adds to Kaz's point. That adds to Kaz's point when he says that Hulk Hogan is overrated. Ric Flair came into your shit and had better matches than you and was in the main event.
Yeah.
Your ass was going to film right. Your ass is going to film Suburban Commando. His ass came in and was like, yo, I'm still going to give y'all some dope ass main events. New York might not fuck with me like that. Up north might not fuck with me like that. But you can't tell me that my matches with Macho Man and Rowdy Piper and goddamn Bret Hart.
The Royal Rumble, Bret Hart.
The Royal Rumble 1992. Matter of fact, Ric Flair came into your shit and got the bigger, better moment than you. Think about it. He comes in there in 91 now. Ric Flair came into WWF in 1991. Do we talk about Ric Flair winning the Royal Rumble in 1992? Or do we talk about Hulk Hogan beating The Undertaker after losing The Undertaker? We don't need to talk about those two matches. We don't talk about Tuesday in Texas, and we don't talk about that Survivor Series. But you know what we talk about? We talk about Royal Rumble 92. That's Ric Flair coming into your shit.
Yeah.
And taking your shit. And then was like, yo, we're about to do a youth movement. All right, I'm just going to go back to go to WCW. And went back and gave us Vader. Gave us Rick Rude. Hulk Hogan gave us Thunder in Paradise. And then came to your shit. He put you over at Bash at the Beach. Or Beach Bash, whatever it was called at the time. And then he started giving you matches with the Dungeon of Doom. I don't want to hear that shit, y'all. I don't want to hear that shit. Who you got? We gonna talk about it. Look, we're awesome sauce set now. We gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Right, hey. Because
we gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Nothing beats chronological history, bro. Like I'm just like, hey, you almost got me wanting to put him above Goldberg now.
We're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Oh my God.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna have a real conversation, or we just gonna be like, no, but the box office, you know what I'm saying?
Man, listen. Pure madness. Pure madness. Okay, since I really didn't even give since I just agreed with you like spot for spot, you know what I mean? Since I do gotta give too. And when we say underrated, hey, listen, these two guys came in my mind. And I'm gonna stand on it. I'm gonna stand on these two picks because I think they are both a victim to one, Hulkamania. And I think they are a victim of maybe being too good of a worker or too good of being the charismatic meters, maybe just a little too high, that that they may have had to pivot just wrestling in general, my two additions to this underrated list, Bam Bam Bigelow and Sid Vicious. Gonna throw them both in there because for me,
I know why you got Bam Bam up there.
You dig? I mean, hey, listen. For I think we, and again, Bam Bam versus LT WrestleMania. It may look like a glorified celebrity match, but if you really know or understand wrestling, you got to understand how much they respect and understood how much that Bam Bam would take care of Lawrence Taylor in that situation. But not only that, I mean, for me, Bam Bam Bigelow, whether he was with Engelbert Humperdinck or not, you know what I'm saying? Like I've always thought of him as being a very underrated worker that you could have put him with a Macho Man and he's out of here. But you could put him with Sting. He's out of here. I would have loved to see Bam Bam versus Shawn Michaels. I think the crowd turns on Bam Bam versus Bret Hart. Sorry, I think it goes differently. I think that the complexion of the streak and the Undertaker's WrestleMania resume changes if you got Bam Bam when he's Bam Bam in there. So and I also think that Bam Bam Bigelow just works everywhere. I think he works in WCW. I think he would have worked in TNA. I would think he would have worked in
he worked at ECW.
Yeah, he worked in ECW. Yo, he is a very big unsung hero in ECW to me. But hell, I think if Tony Khan goes out and finds him a Bam Bam Bigelow, boy, does AEW have a nice anchor to their roster that can really take them somewhere else. I think that he's again, I think just underrated in general for me is just the Bam Bam Bigelow epitomizes that. And Sid Vicious, man, I mean, look, y'all saw the Survivor Series, but more importantly than that, I mean, I know Ric Flair was on record as saying, "Hey, look, the only Horseman version I count is the original one." But man, there is I think Sid Vicious is one of the very first guys to be a tweener and not even know it, and to get himself over without necessarily trying. And I think with more reps in promo, I think with just better opponents, because when you give him somebody marquee outside of Hulk Hogan, but then I don't think the Sid Justice thing was just a thing that was working over, but Sid proved that if you put me with a main event guy, you're gonna get a main event, like on both ends. And I think he proved that everywhere he went. So there's nothing in my mind that says that he couldn't be in this elite class of multiple world championships runs that we actually remember. So Bam Bam and Sid, for me, belong in this underrated list. And this definitely also made me think of Barry Windham, but I'll chill. I'll just stop with those two additions.
My last, and just thinking about this because we did the underrated on the whim.
Mm-hmm.
But thinking about my last on the list, and there's a couple of people that I feel like I can name on this, is Paul Orndorff.
Okay.
If we want to be real, and we look at Hulk Hogan's first real opponent as champion, when I say we forget or we don't put things out there, it's not Andre the Giant. It's not Macho Man. It's Paul Orndorff. WrestleMania 1. Who do you wrestle? Paul Orndorff, who after that turns face and becomes your best friend. And Bobby the Brain Heenan like, hey, buddy ass don't fuck with you like you think. You don't. No, you don't. WrestleMania 2, yeah, you get King Kong Bundy, but Paul Orndorff's a face after WrestleMania 1, and then later before WrestleMania 3. So this is between WrestleMania 2 and WrestleMania 3. Between WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 3, Paul Orndorff is Hulk Hogan's friend. Bobby the Brain Heenan gets in his ear like, yo, they ain't really your friend, fam. Now I prove it to you. And he get beat up. Hulk Hogan ain't there, and all that stuff. They do the little stand-up interview and everything, and Paul Orndorff like, no, Hogan, my man. And he tried to call Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan hit him with the, yo, sorry I can't make it to the phone, but leave your name, number, and message, and now I get back to you. Embarrassed him. So then Paul Orndorff, after tag team match with Hulk Hogan, turns on Hulk Hogan and beats Hulk Hogan's ass. Then that leads to a feud between those two, which goes from Saturday night's main event to the big event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he broke his collarbone. His collarbone might be broken. And then the Saturday night's main event, when they both land at the same time, but they have to redo the joint. Paul Orndorff is really the start of the feud between Hulk Hogan and Bobby the Brain Heenan. And when Paul Orndorff can't take the strap away from him, then here comes Andre the Giant. He is the bridge between Hulk Hogan starting Hulkamania and then Hulk Hogan getting to its zenith with Andre the Giant. Between WrestleMania 1 and WrestleMania 3, there's the story of Hulk Hogan and Paul Orndorff. And they main evented everywhere and made money everywhere. So we want to talk about box office awesome sauce. We talk about Paul Orndorff, Hulk Hogan, and Paul Orndorff being in the main event with Hulk Hogan to get him to WrestleMania 3. That is the epitome of a main eventer, and we don't talk about much. I could have said Chris Jericho, and I could have said Kurt Angle, I could have said others. But if we want to talk about Hulk Hogan, the feud, matter of fact, to do it better, the transition from Roddy Piper to Andre the Giant, in the middle of that, it is Paul Orndorff. And within that rivalry, he gave you the big event pile driver moment, and they gave you the blue cage moment at Saturday night's main event. And even before that, it's the whole turn from friend to foe. You was my best friend. He took his music.
Yeah.
Yo, and then when he leaves the WWE, he goes to the UWF and main events there and stuff too. We see Paul Orndorff when he's older and he's a Pretty Wonderful and all of that stuff with Paul Roman and all that. But we're going to have Paul Orndorff. Hey, man, watch Paul Orndorff. Watch Paul Orndorff when we got Paul Orndorff on Dark Side of the Ring. There you go. So Paul Orndorff. That
salute to Mr. Wonderful, man.
That is one of the most underrated main eventers of all time.
I respect it.
Now I know Jonathan Hood's probably gonna be like, what are black folks at? I didn't see Junkyard Dog as a main event. I didn't see Butch Reed as a main event. I ain't see Big Cat Ernie Ladd as a main event. I didn't go down south and see Coco Beware as a main event, or Pez Watley or anything like that. But those are mine, man. Those are mine. Great conversation, though. See, great conversation.
For sure, yeah, man.
A lot of people wondering why John Cena on our list, though. A lot of people wondering why John Cena is not overrated or underrated to us. He's just there. He's just right there. He ain't what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really supposed to do that when you think about it.
And that's why I can't put him on these lists. Like John Cena, for all things considered, he should have been like Mark Jindrak. You know what I'm saying? Hey. He might have supposed to have been Adam Bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like there was nothing on the docket that said anybody was just high on John Cena until he just started proving it. And I think that accounts for something. I put John Cena in that class of people, like JBL. I mean, honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like Justin Hawk Bradshaw could have been the end. or when the APA member or the Acolyte member, I'm sorry, there's a lot to be said for a guy that comes into an industry that has the look, but doesn't have the ego and doesn't have the substance abuse issues that just makes it. And so that's why I don't put John Cena in either of these underrated or overrated lists. It was like, nah, you know what? This is what they wanted out of Hulk Hogan. This is what they wanted out of Shawn Michaels. This is what they felt Bret Hart could have done. This is, when you look at John Cena's career and the longevity piece of it, just the longevity, like he's like the Too Short of wrestling, where it's like, hey, you know what? I got 10 platinum albums and I was going to get out of here, but you want me back? Hey, well, let's blow the whistle. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, hey, like it just is what it is. It's like, maybe I just shouldn't stop. So yeah, I know the thing is to kill John Cena as a sports entertainer and as a wrestler, but man, look at the resume objectively. Realize where you were when it started and where you were when it ended. He did what he was supposed to do. He did what he had to do, and he did it longer than anybody else. Gotta respect it.
Yeah. So before we get out of here real quick, let's go with the SummerSlam Night 2 recap. Roman Reigns defeated Seth Rollins to win. Let me do that again. SummerSlam Night 2 recap. Roman Reigns defeated Seth Rollins to retain the WWE World Championship. Is LA Knight or Solo Sikoa or somebody else the best next opponent for Roman Reigns?
It should be Solo or LA Knight. I'm always going to lean LA Knight because, again, he – you know what I'm saying? Because he's definitely not void of making a moment. And, I mean, not for nothing, man. I think they got to do something soon before the window closes. I think the fans will only get behind certain superstars for so long because what you do run the risk of, even though it's a little scarce now in this era, you run the risk of somebody getting themselves scorching hot and getting themselves super over, and now it doesn't make sense to have the LA Knight run now versus then.
What's next for Seth Rollins? Like, what are we doing here? No, is it Jacob or what's going on?
Man, hey, listen. First of all, I want to say I don't like 1 second of this. I don't like this one bit that Seth Rollins can beat you for 5 years, and then you win one match, and now it's over. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I was preparing myself for somewhat of a trilogy to a degree. I was preparing of maybe a Orton Cena kind of thing, maybe. But at the same time, I do get it. But it's like, if Seth Rollins was the monkey on Roman Reigns' back, then now what is he supposed to do? That I beat them all promos now, and somebody just knew like it's supposed to debut and get ushered to the front of the line. I don't know how I feel about any of this. Seth Rollins and Michael Cole describing what the ring gear meant and all of that. I don't know. It almost felt like a daggone retirement match. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
tripping.
So when you ask what's next for Seth Rollins, that's a good question because they made it seem like it was over. He got "I'm sorry, I loved you" apparently at SummerSlam, and I missed that part. So, I hope something is up next. But if all it takes is him losing one time to finish the business, maybe it's Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. And I agree with you. It felt like it was a retirement match. It felt like this was over with, like for Seth Rollins. Because if you say that's it for him in Roman Reigns, then it's got to be it for him in the Bloodline. So him and Jacob Fatu don't even make sense.
Exactly.
I don't know, but yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit, which is why I did say if Roman Reigns wins, this feud is over with. There's no reason to carry the feud. Seth Rollins had to win in order for this to keep going. And yes, I thought you had 3 months of a story to tell, but clearly they don't want to tell that story. I didn't even
Right.
like the Shield reference at the end. Like fuck all that shit. Like you beat me. Right? You got it over. Now we're friends. Now we supposed to see y'all in tag matches and all this shit. Like I didn't like this at all, which is why I don't like the Bloodline storyline at all either, like the way it
Mm.
is right now. This is also part of the reason why I don't like that Bloodline storyline, because now y'all piece it up, y'all cool and everything. So, okay, like, yeah, I don't like that at all. A returning Kevin Owens defeated Gunther, Sami Zayn, and Finn Balor. I said on here that I thought that the next opponent for CM Punk needed to be Kevin Owens.
Hey, cue the
I'm about to. I am looking for it right now. Yeah, yeah. I said it. I was waiting for this, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what I wanted. Kevin Owens, CM Punk, feud is on deck,
Mhm.
and yeah, they don't like each other. They
Mhm.
don't like each other. You can tell off the first promo. And I ain't calling you CM Punk. I'm calling you Phil. So, with all of that being said, should Kevin Owens take the title from CM Punk though?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And not a moment too late. Or too soon. This is again, man. Just going back to the tribal chief era. This is why another reason why Roman Reigns is not overrated, by the way. Kevin Owens, because of injuries, has not cashed in on his moment from the part he played in building the tribal chief. So, like when somebody, I forgot, it might have been Donnie, somebody or a bank, somebody put that Kevin Owens might need to be on this underrated list.
Yes.
And if he don't win this title, then he absolutely is on this list for me. Then there is nothing that says that Kevin Owens is not owed this title reign. I don't care who he go over on, because he helped build the tribal chief. This is another reason why Conrad, I don't know how you think Goldberg would pull off a match like he did with any of the ones that he pulled off against Roman Reigns. It ain't even possible, bro. It literally ain't even in his chemical makeup. So, so I'm sorry. We're trying to move the show forward. I'm just tripping off of that.
No.
But Kevin Owens absolutely needs to take that belt off of Punk. I think it's a good move for just where wrestling is right now, let alone just for where the WWE is right now. Kevin Owens needs to be our next WWE champion, period.
I am going to throw out there guarantee.
Mm.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
Here's a guarantee. Kevin Owens will win the world championship from CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And they will continue to feud. They might continue to feud. This might happen at Money in the Bank, or it might happen a little bit before WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But my guarantee is that Sami Zayn will win the Money in the Bank, and he will cash in on Kevin Owens.
Mm.
We're going to be tugging on the heartstrings that Kevin Owens' career was almost over. It was almost over, Kent.
Mm-hmm.
Had neck surgery. He was gone for a minute. Man, what? Oh my God, I can't believe he's back. Yes. And then that music gonna come on. And the best friend is going to turn on Kevin Owens and winning back the belt that he felt like he never should have lost in the first place. My guarantee is that Sami Zayn will win Money in the Bank, and he will defeat Kevin Owens and win the championship, tugging on the heartstrings and making Sammy look like a piece of shit. We're going to make him like a piece of shit. He might even come down there and hug him and like, yo, I can't believe it, bro. Yeah, and then kick him in the nuts. and then give him the haluva kick,
You
and
know
then
what
he
I'm
win the belt, and Michael Cole say, "I can't believe it. He's a piece of shit." You know what it reminds me of?
saying? Yeah.
It reminds me of when Kevin Owens went to celebrate Sami Zayn, where he won
Yeah.
the championship at NXT.
Yeah.
Then he whooped his ass, power bombed him on the apron, and
Yeah.
then that next NXT event, he beat him for the championship. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my guarantee right there.
Hey.
Let's see what happens.
Hard to
Um,
defeat that one.
hey,
Mm-mm.
we'll see. We'll see if I'm right or not. Chelsea Green, like I predicted, you
Yes.
wanted,
Yes.
won the women's ladder match to become the women's world champion. They did not put the interim title on it on SmackDown. They said undisputed. But then she went and broke her orbital bone.
Dang. Mm.
What should the WWE do? Should they mask her up? Make her Cody Rhodes it up? Have her out here looking like Horace Grant? Or should they give that belt to Jade Cargill or Charlotte Flair or whoever else?
Mm. I'd rather them mask her up because hey, as far as I know, there's been a handful of champions over the last 2.5 years that have been cleared to wrestle and just don't. And they don't be on TV, and they don't be on the Today Show, they don't be on Jimmy Kimmel, they don't be doing Snickers or Slim Jim commercials, they don't be doing nothing, as far as I know. So with that being said, let Chelsea Green parade around with the title for at least a quarter. You know what I mean? Like it's I think that you do a better service not only to her and the work she's put in, but I think that you get great wrestling story from a woman, which is what the E really needs. I think taking the title off of her because she, has the broken orbital bone and all of that. I think that's a sign of you not trusting the women to go out there and be entertaining. And I think that with Chelsea Green, you never have that problem. So I see her taking a Randy Orton shoulder percentage update injury report route for this. I think there are so many great things that Chelsea Green can do for the belt and for the division by not wrestling and just holding the title that they'd be missing the mark tremendously if they just try to get the belt off of her just for somebody who's healthier.
All right, we got Chad Gable defeating Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. It would have been
Praise
pop of
God.
the night. It would have been pop of the night, but Kevin Owens came out.
Yeah.
Who should feud with Gable next?
Someone that is not of Latin descent, respectfully.
I think it's Jimmy. Jimmy should go after the Intercontinental Championship. He's the one that's missing that solo gold. It shouldn't be Jacob Fatu. He's well more deserving in the Intercontinental Championship. And Jay's already had both the World and the Intercontinental Championship. I want to see Jay Uso. I want to see Roman Reigns say, hey, yo, Jay, go get that. It's your time. Go get that. We'll see what happens. Baron Corbin surprisingly beat Trick Williams to win the championship. Then Trick Williams lost the rematch on SmackDown.
Yeah, man.
What the hell is the WWE doing?
To me, they're doing two things. Making Trick Williams a certified face and proving he don't need that belt to be over. So I know this is the first Black Champ podcast. I'm always pro Black Champs. I'm not going to act like I'm like happy that Trick Williams is not the U.S. champion, but I'm choosing to see the bright side of this, and is that that's how over Trick Williams is. Yeah, he might be bigger than that title, and respectfully, even with the fur on it and all of that, I don't see him making the title bigger. I actually see him being bigger than the title.
Now, I mean, I guess on Friday, Carmelo Hayes attacked Baron Corbin. Now they're gonna be wrestling for the championship. Man, I'm gonna have to see this one through. But right now, this look like shit. It looks like all of the allegations that's against Triple H is warranted because,
Yeah.
damn, it's like Baron. I could, as much of a Baron Corbin fan I am,
Mm-hmm.
I could have saw if it was damn near anybody else
Mm.
than a returning Baron Corbin.
Okay.
Like I could have. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to see this through.
The
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I want to say just real quick. The only reason why I'm shooting the bell because when we had the segment about Baron Corbin returning, I did say Baron Corbin is the master at getting himself over no matter what the circumstance.
Yeah, he is.
And that's why, because it's him, is the reason why I'm not really tripping because I don't know how yet. And it's already kind of working. But Baron Corbin is going to get himself over with this belt. So that's why I'm just like, they're not wasting the L. They're not wasting it because it's him. But
yeah.
I don't love it. I just don't love it.
And I can't even say that we'll see if what happens with Carmelo, because based on what just happened, I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the belt off of Baron Corbin. I would not be surprised. Being that Baron Corbin won. Danhausen defeated Dominik Mysterio. This is, of course, last for a reason, and the human money's on the poles match. But according to reports, Dominik Mysterio is pissed. He's a bit disgruntled. He feels like his main roster TV role is one-dimensional. He loves the work and excited about the work in AAA. Currently he has a manager, and Omos is his I guess his security guard. Omos is getting his Mr. Hughes on. But then when you see him on the main roster, he's dealing with Danhausen. So it's like he has two different characters. What are your thoughts?
This is one of those instances where the combat sports people don't know nothing about wrestling. And that's why they don't know what they're doing with Dominik Mysterio. Like you can't derail the guy who, all things considered, was the hottest guy in wrestling just last year, just like a year ago. He was the hottest thing in wrestling. And it sucks this is happening to him. But again, this is one of those TK Endeavor. Oh, well, we know combat sports. No way. Anybody could kick Dominik Mysterio's ass. That's not why we're here, though, fam. It's not why we're here. We're here because that kid's entertaining. and we like him to be entertained.
Yeah, I don't like this two different, because even with El Grande Americano, with both versions, like one's the face and one's the heel in AAA, but the other is the opposite. And on Raw, like I don't like, if your character is this here, then it needs to be that there, especially when y'all under the same company. Big Cass did come back. He did come back. He did attack a black dude. Yeah. Just so happened to be Javon Evans, and the crowd did not pop. What was your thought? Oh, and Corey Graves didn't either. Apparently, Corey Graves was like, hey, "You said it would be interesting to see the reaction to Corey Graves." You said that.
Yep. Facts. And I stand on it.
It was no reaction. Corey Graves was like this.
Yeah, I guess. and that's what's unfortunate for Big Cass. See, moments like this, he may spiral out again. I hope he don't. God bless to you. But man, that segment might be labeled Big Cass Returns, but that segment is really, hey man, we love Javon Evans. What you doing? Because, hey, again, I think I said months ago, now I'm worried that we're going to start using Javon Evans as the lovable loser. Because now Big Cass has debuted to get over with Javon Evans, but again, not knowing how wrestling really works, that wasn't the guy for that. Danhausen might have been the guy for that. Shoot, Finn Balor could have been the guy for that. There's a lot of other smaller faces that you can debut Big Cass with And that goes over a little better. People are so high on Javon Evans right now that he can't take too many more L's. And Big Cass is returning, and you wasn't the top choice when you left, bruh. It just wouldn't that. See, that's the difference. Now it is. I might throw a little conspiracy theory out here for y'all. I don't like how my failed WrestleMania 40 guarantee, they both came back and started beating up black people. I'm not with that.
Hey, that's what happened.
but it happened. But one made way more sense than the other. Hey, look, he could have attacked Otis and what's my man name? Asian homie. Akira Tozawa. He would have been better off re-debuting and beating them up than Javon Evans. It's like there's heat. There's heat in wrestling, and then there's nah, bro. That ain't it. And this was a that ain't it.
I know that they're teasing Oba and Braun, but I told y'all that I would do that last.
Mm-hmm.
I would have had Oba get demolished by Big Cass. And they're saying, oh my God. And actually, I think that would have been a bigger pop right there if they would have did that. Man, I gave my guarantee. You got one?
Man, guarantee. You know, I'm just gonna stick with this Javon Evans thing. I guarantee that they and whoever they is, based on what Triple H has been saying in post interviews, they are really in danger of killing their future in Dominik Mysterio and Javon Evans. I guarantee it. And I know that wrestling itself is not built on wins and losses, but you gotta feed the streets. You gotta give the people what they want. And the people really do want, I'm going to throw another name in there. They really want Javon Evans. They really want Dominik Mysterio. They really want LA Knight to win matches. They really want them to win matches. They want them in higher profile opportunities. And they're seriously dropping the ball on this. We start off this segment about who's over and underrated as main eventers in the world of wrestling. What you're doing right now, TKO Endeavor, WWE, Paul Levesque, and everybody else that might have something to do with it, is that you are stifling your potential for main events. You're stifling it by literally you dangling the carrot in front of the horse, and then you throwing it in traffic. Like, bro, you gotta stop because you're gonna you run the risk now, especially of in AEW figuring it out. Who's all things considered, they figuring it out over there from what I've been just seeing, the bits and pieces I've been figuring out. And they are 1 to 3 superstars away from that fan base pointing another direction. And again, respect to CM Punk and to Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. But for your more seasoned wrestling fans and for your new and up-and-coming wrestling fans, you're not giving us enough new hotness. You just took the belt off of Trick Williams. You're not giving us new hotness. You got Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch again. We're not getting new hotness. And a big part of this wrestling thing that we enjoy, it's the legacy acts, but it's always the new hotness. And if you're not going to give us that, you're in danger of losing what has took a lot of time and tenure to build. I'd be cautious on that. So that is my guarantee. My guarantee is, again, give the people what they want, or I guarantee they're going to find somewhere else to go here sooner rather than later.
Well, look, great episode.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of controversy with some of our overrated and underrated wrestlers.
You know.
But it's our list. So, close us out, Kemp.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, we appreciate y'all. Let me turn my belt around. All right. We appreciate y'all for checking out the First Black Champ podcast, man. Every week, we enjoy giving y'all this premium content, you know what I'm saying, for the free 99 too. You know what I mean? We're going to take you at your little words. So if you're out here like Conrad and you saying stuff like overrated main eventers and we throwing out people like Roman Reigns, you're going to hear about it. You dig what I'm saying? You're going to get wrestling history. You're going to get wrestling in the now. You're going to get great perspective. But most importantly, you're going to get real engagement with the community. And that's what we love to do as well. You know, Awesome Sauce, you kind of disappeared on us, but hey, man, thank you for tuning in because you turned up.
You got mad at
you know
the Hulk Hogan tape.
Hey,
he
but
wanted
you
us
know
to talk
what?
about Hulk Hogan versus the masked wrestler in 1980 in February of 1984.
Hey, but you know what? You helped turn up the temperature on the segment itself, and we do appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the few places on the internet where you can come and disagree, but you will be engaged respectfully, because if it do get too disrespectful, we'll beat your ass. What? Man, hey, listen, if you ever want to talk about wrestling in an unconventional way, you do so by checking out the First Black Champ podcast. It's the pick with the VP, DOC, and we are out. Saw you shaking that thing with that belt. I love you, Nia Jax.